Hey y'all, today we are making snickerdoodles. Okay, so start out by getting your oven preheating to 350, okay? Now we're going to add to our mixing bowl 2 sticks of softened butter, and I did remember to sit my butter out this time, y'all. I'm so proud of myself because y'all know I am notorious for forgetting to do that. But anyway, 2 sticks of butter in your bowl. Then you're going to add in 1 1/3 cup of white sugar and 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, okay? So then we're just gonna let this mix until our butter and sugar is completely combined. It'll get lighter in color, it'll get kind of fluffy. Just make sure it's all good and mixed together. If you don't have a stand mixer, you know, it's perfectly fine. You can use a hand mixer for this if that's what you have. I just love the convenience of the stand mixer because I can turn it on and walk away and do something else. So let that mix until everything's combined. Then you're going to add in 2 eggs, and it didn't specify in the recipe I used whether these needed to be room temperature or not, so, you know, they weren't. So anyway, crack those in there, and look, that brings a whole new meaning to a little eggshell in your bowl, don't it? So dig your shells out, and then you're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and y'all, yes, that's the cheap vanilla, because when I went to Mexico a few months ago, I couldn't find the vanilla I wanted. I was very upset about that, and my store just didn't have anything good, so I was like, whatever, I'll grab the cheap stuff. It'll be just fine. It'll be okay. The good stuff, of course, does taste better, but if you can't get your hands on it, use what you can find. I do want to make my own vanilla one of these days. I've been watching some tutorials, so maybe that'll happen at some point in the future. But I heard it takes a long time to make. Like, it has to sit for a long, like months or something. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get into that one of these years. But anyway, we've got our wet ingredients mixed over there. So now we're putting our dry ingredients together. So what you're going to need is 3 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to need a teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda. Then we're going to add in 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I use the fine sea salt. Y'all use whatever kind of salt you want, okay? And then we're going to add in 1 1/2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Now this is not something I use very often, so I actually did look up, why are we using this? And if you didn't know, the reason why is it's supposed to make your cookie softer and chewier. Okay, so that's what Dr. Google told me, so that's what we're going to go with. If y'all know another reason that we use this, specifically in a snickerdoodle cookie, let me know. Let me know down in the comments if y'all know why. But anyway, y'all know I'm a rule follower, so I went ahead and did what they told me to do. And by the way, I found this recipe over on Pinterest, I believe. Y'all know I find recipes and I write them down, and I'm terrible about remembering to write down where I found them, and I know that's awful, but I usually try to remember, but I did find it over on Pinterest, so if you look it up, I'm sure you can find it too. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and add in our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. And I just added about half, and I mixed it slow because, again, y'all know I'm famous for slinging flour all over my kitchen. So just let that mix. I mixed it. You don't want to over mix these cookies, so I just let it mix in a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and add the rest of my flour in to let it finish mixing completely. So the reason, if anybody was curious, maybe you're not, that I am doing these snickerdoodle cookies, I try to do something different for my kids, more than just hey, here's you a gift you're never gonna remember I bought you, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do different things, sometimes every year I'll try something different. We used to go out to eat as a big family, and now it's harder to get people together. So what I did this year, starting with my granddaughter in October, is I was like, okay, what kind of cookie do y'all want? What's your favorite cookie? And for your birthday, I'll make whatever kind of cookie you want. Well, my daughter's birthday was last week, and she wanted snickerdoodles. So sis got snickerdoodles, okay? So that's how we do around here. But anyway, that's why I'm making snickerdoodles, y'all. So anyway, Now, for these snickerdoodle cookies, you know they're kind of rolled in cinnamon and sugar. Well, not kind of, they are. So what I'm doing is I'm doing 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and I'm doing 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. Okay, just put that in a bowl, mix it up good. If you can get your hands on the pre-mixed cinnamon and sugar, that will work just fine too. The only place I've been able to really find that lately was at the Dollar Tree, and it's actually a good size container of it. So if you can find some of that, that works just fine if you don't want to mix your cinnamon and sugar. I mean, I'm just saying, for convenience sake. So what you're going to do is I scooped up, and I'm using the cookie scooper because I want to try to keep these about the same size. But once you get your cookies scooped up, roll it up into a ball the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then roll it around in your cinnamon and sugar. Okay, so we're going to roll these around in our cinnamon and sugar and then just put them down. I've got my big baking sheet with my silicone, my crusty stained silicone mats on it. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get all your cookies made. They're going to spread, so make sure you leave plenty of space. I filled this big pan up, and then I did another small pan. So I want to say I ended up making about 30 cookies with this, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 28, 30 cookies, somewhere around there. So it does make a lot of cookies. So once you get those going, you're going to pop them in the oven, and you're just going to let these cook for about 10 minutes until they're browned around the edges. They're still going to be a little soft looking in the center. Don't worry about that. They're going to kind of sink down once they cool. Let them sit on your pan once you bring them out of the oven. Let them sit there for just a minute or so until you can like get your, thing up under them to get them off the pan. You know what I mean? When they're not like going to fall apart on you. And then you need to, I'm putting just an old scrap piece of parchment paper under there so I don't get cinnamon and sugar all over my counter. But while they're still warm, go ahead and dip them back into your cinnamon and sugar just to give them another little layer of yummy goodness. You know what I mean? And you could put the top and bottom in there, but I didn't really see the need for it. I just dipped the tops of mine in there. And that's all you have to do for these. And you're just going to let them cool all the way down. Y'all, these were some of the best cookies. And y'all know I said I made them for my daughter's birthday, and she loved them. The kids loved them. Everybody loved them. They didn't last a day. I'm just saying. That was a lot of cookies, and they didn't last the day. So anyway, these are our snickerdoodle cookies, y'all. So if you've never had one, well, now you know how. And if you've never tasted one, you really need to, because they are super soft, chewy, and delicious. All right, that is all I've got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.